Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of You're Not Ready for This. This episode, we're gonna dedicate it to something of a debate. What do you say, Kevin?
We're gonna try something a little bit new today, aren't we, Alan?
Yep, we're kind of been going in and out for a few weeks now about PC gaming is kind of better than console. Are you crazy? Console is better than PC gaming, and we were like, you know what? Why don't we argue about it?
Well, it's funny because I think I don't know how much we've really talked about it in the past, but I pretty much do all my gaming on console. Not pretty much, I do all my gaming on console, and I know you had mentioned a couple times, both probably on the air and off the air, that you were looking at maybe not going for consoles anymore, and just sticking strictly with PC gaming, and I think that kind of spurred this little bit of a debate kind of conversation that we've had.
Yeah, and certainly I've been the sort of a person as far as background goes. I've been on and off in both. Like, obviously, I had my fair share of console gaming, handhelds, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. But I would say if I have equal to or no more time on PC gaming, just to mention a few of those time thinkers, or World of Warcraft or any RPG, recently Elden Ring or any of those titles, I would say that I have a fair share, not to count any RTS or whatever you count on the PC. So, yeah, I would say that I have about the same time of playtime if you were to calculate it both on PC and on consoles.
Awesome. So, what are the rules that we're looking at today?
So as far as rules go for our debate, we kind of came to the agreement of having like an 80-second chance to be able to make our argument. I'm gonna stand in the side of PCs, and Kevin is gonna stand on the side of consoles. And after making those 90 seconds argument, the other person gonna have the 30 seconds to rebuke or make a counterpoint to that, following by another 30 seconds by the person that just made the initial statement to answer to that rebuke or counter. And then the other person will have 90 seconds to make their argument in favor to the other side of the argument.
Sounds pretty fun.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Now, would like to warn everybody at home that we're not experts at this, so don't try this at home.
Well, that's basically the name of the podcast. We're not ready for this, but
Exactly.
we're gonna go for it. So I'm gonna hit it up. I'm gonna start. Uh,
Okay. All right.
Obviously, just to make it clear, we don't have a moderator, so we're moderating ourselves.
We're
So
doing this on our own here, and yeah, we're just kind of having fun with it. So,
yeah, so I'm gonna be hitting the clock here on my side, and I'll try to keep the time for both of us. And
okay.
uh, yeah, I'm gonna
All right.
start
Let's give it
and
a go.
go. PCs. When you think of PCs, you think of customization, power, anything that you want to have the sense of empowerment the PC offers to you. Do you want that graphics card that got the top of the bench mark for graphics? Put the graphics card that you want. Do you want the case for your computer to have LED lights? Do so. You don't have the limitation. You want to be able to get the most out of your experience. Your model is running a bit behind. You only need to go and buy the parts, and you can keep upgrading the same computer. And how prices go nowadays, it doesn't cost much to just add a few more gigs of memory, or if you want more storage for your games. So when you think PCs, you should be thinking of customization and be able to have the power to do what you want, and not being waiting for a company to come and say, oh, these are the specifications that we want for our console, and you're going to be bound by it. So break those bounds, and you're going to be playing on what you want with the specs that you want when you want it. That's going to be my argument. Kevin.
Uh, Now, I think that's a very good argument there, Alan. But not everybody is interested in customization. Not everybody cares about what their console or computer looks like. When you mention LED lights and different colors and whatnot on a case, that really doesn't have anything to do with actual gaming. The last time I checked, we were talking specifically about gaming. So, um, yeah, your customizations may be pretty decent when it comes to upgrading your video card or your memory, but that stuff all costs money, and it can cost you a lot of money.
Time. Yeah, you can close your argument.
Oh, thank you. It could cost you a lot of money, as opposed to consoles, which are a static hardware.
Well, Kevin, well, that is true. Money might be a factor, but let's be honest. Do you want your console to look like a router, or you want it to look like a fridge? I don't know about you, but how those consoles are being made recently, you place one of those consoles inside of one of those IKEA or cabinets for your living room. The heat sinks are gonna be taking much of the air, are very uncomfortable. So I would say looks are very important as it goes, as it's also functional. Closing my statement to the argument. Now it's your turn.
All right. So let me know when I'm ready, when I can kick off.
Go.
Console gaming, to me, is the best kind of gaming experience that you could possibly have. What is any type of experience that you want from gaming? You want to be able to play that game. What console gaming allows you to do is pick out any game that's made for that console, put it in, play it, download that game, play it. There's no other opportunities for that game to not work. That game is designed specifically for that console. It will always work with that console. And your experience with that console is exactly how the developers intended it to be. Closed.
Goes your argument. Okay.
That's my argument.
Okay. I'm sorry. So I hear you that the games are made specifically for that console, but man, do you mean that I want to buy two, three, four consoles to play the games that I need? I just need to be patient. Nowadays, how things go, Game Pass is already on PC, and as it goes, PlayStation is already releasing their games on computers, so it's just a matter of waiting, and you can play any game on one PC. Okay, that's my time.
So my counter to that really would be when I'm talking about the game the way it was meant to be played. I'm not talking about specifically on generations of hardware. I'm just talking about how that game works, how it plays. With a computer, that game could play differently depending on the power of your computer. So instead of actually being able to experience the game in its full potential, you might not be able to because of your hardware limitations. Ooh, I just got it under 30 seconds.
Oh man, you're getting good at this. Okay, so I'm gonna hit it off by myself.
All right.
So on the same topic of games, actually, I would say that PC games, if something they got to offer, is longevity because you don't have to worry about a network being shut down or you not being able to play a game because it's locked behind a service that is no longer being offered. You want to access games that no longer are either made physically or have to buy them for hundreds of dollars because they were only played physically or because they shut down the PS3 network or whatever other network that you access to your game. You don't have to worry about that on PC. It's been decades since I've been access to my games and from Steam. I only have to go to another computer, another system, download, and that's fine. I never have to worry about losing not only my save files, but my games. If you're the kind of person that like revisiting games either for nostalgia or because they were very good games, you don't have any worry about it. Closing my argument.
All right. Now, Alan, you make a really good point there as far as the way the gaming or the way the PC works. However, if a game is online, you're still dependent on the servers being online, and that doesn't have anything to do with consoles or PC gaming. I think from your perspective, you were talking more about actually downloading a specific game from a service. Obviously, if you own that game physical on either side, it doesn't matter. But both the PlayStation and with the Xbox, I don't see going away anytime soon. And you could really equate that to the same kind of ecosystem with what you said specifically with Steam.
So counter to that, don't you have a few games that either you don't have the physical copy or you play so long ago and the service is no longer available? I would say not only you have to pay not only extra for the service to be able to play online, there's a chance that in the future those services might not be available anymore. You only have to look back and they already set up the precedent for that.
So, how does everything just being hooked up and working in your living room while you're sitting on your couch enjoying your brand new game that you just purchased sound? Because it sounds a heck of a lot better to me than it does sitting in your office with your computer and a small monitor trying to play this game with a mouse and a keyboard. Not to mention, your console gaming is also easily accessible for gifts. For the parent that wants to buy their son or daughter the brand new hot game for Christmas, much easier for them to just pick up the new Xbox or PlayStation than it would be to try to find and build a gaming PC, not to mention the cost. We also can't forget that these systems also double as both streaming and Blu-ray players for your home entertainment as well. So you basically get the entire experience just in one small box that hooks up to your TV with your home entertainment system, unlike sitting in your little office with your PC on your desk.
Well, certainly, it's very comfortable to be on the living room, but everyone knows that if you want to have that very enclosed experience with a game, you play with keyboard and mouse, to be quite honest. And as far as limitations, you don't have to limit yourself to that. There's controller support. You have your own setup. You can put a couch on your office and play from the couch, the same from a computer. Big TV. You can have multiple monitors connected to your computer. Not to say there's really no limitation as far as the things that you can do. People forget you're still on a PC, and the PC does not only gaming, does other things that PC does.
Well, that's definitely a good point as far as the PCs not being or the PCs being able to do other things, but that's also a bad point that the PCs are able to do other things. When I'm looking at a console or I'm looking at a gaming system, all I really want it to do is play games. I don't want to have to worry about it multitasking anything else or having to worry about my hardware being tasked because something else is running in the background that is going to affect my game. So I would definitely prefer to have that console experience where just focusing on the game and that's it.
Excellent. So we're gonna make a closing statements. I gotta give it to consoles nowadays. The console being released right now. At the time of release, we're the first generation that were released with technology that was not available to PC. To that, I gotta tip my hat. But right now, with the GPUs that are being released, like you will have to wait for the company to either release another model of the consoles that they're currently selling that either are upgraded versions of the current one. So if you want to be enjoying that, you have to buy a whole new console. While on a PC, you only have to change the parts. And as far as game availability, I would say it's just a matter of time. You can enjoy any sort of game. I would say even the Xbox Series X is almost a moot point being out in the market when they got basically the library of the Game Pass being available on computer. And as PC, PlayStation goes, they already made the statement that within 1 year of game release, their games are going to be made available on PC as well. And not to say of the other games that you can simply cannot enjoy efficiently on a console. So I would say PC going on, it's less of a hassle to be worrying about the next console release and just staying reliable to the true source of gaming.
So, console gaming to me makes the most sense. Everybody likes to talk about PC gaming and how it's upgradable, and Alan made the point about having to worry about the next generation console that comes out. I don't want to have to worry about having to upgrade my computer just to try to keep up with the new games that are going to be coming out. I don't need to be an expert in having to take my computer apart just to replace a part in that computer just to make my experience better. Not to mention that a lot of times these parts cost as much, if not more, than the actual console itself. Consoles, yes, they are generational. The thing with that though is all the newer consoles are now fully backwards compatible. As you upgrade your consoles, you're able to continue to play your existing library on your new consoles. One of the things that you're able to do with a console is you could trade it in for a discount on the next one. Not something that's as easily able to be done on a PC gaming platform. You're also embedded with a ecosystem with that console as far as your friends list, your party chat, your online experience. It's all in one spot. It's all consistent across jumping to different services for that experience.
And there you have it, folks.
Man, you know what's funny is I was thinking, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to fill some of that time. Then there was times like there at the end, I was like, man, I wish I had more time.
Yeah, so basically we did that bit of a quote-unquote mini debate. Obviously, the last time that I did a debate was maybe high school, and oh boy, it has been years. So
I've never done one, so.
Oh, really? Not even for like a high school or college kind of a deal?
No, I was playing baseball.
Well, you were debating with your bat and your skill and your glove. Yeah, it's a different kind of debate, I guess. But kind of after the fact, I'm gonna be honest with you. Being transparent, I love both. Like I love myself, like obviously playing on PlayStation and whatever, kind of enjoying the games. It's just so that the conversation kind of arose from not only the scarce ability that came with the newer consoles, obviously by the chip shortage that was experienced in the recent years, you being able to get a hold of those consoles.
They're still tough to find.
Yep. So that kind of put me in the mood that, one, if not only set a precedent now, it's something that's going to keep happening moving forward. You think about it. Not only are we using chips and computers in basically everything, your fridge has a computer, your microwave has a computer, your stove has a computer, your car has a computer.
Your computer has a computer.
Your computer has a computer within a computer. I mean, and when you think about it, it's sort of making the investment in one of these consoles feels like, obviously, like you just said, they're making it so they're backward compatible, but still, what's say that might not change when they get to say the Xbox Dual G4 that would be the card. I don't know, a special deluxe Series 1009 edition, or the PlayStation 9 or whatever.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that kind of irks me with the PlayStation. Right now, I have to continue to own a PlayStation 2 just to play my PlayStation 1 and 2 games, because my launch 60 gig PlayStation 3 that was fully backwards compatible hardware based died, and I have a slim PlayStation 3 in my main room, but that only plays PlayStation 3 games. It's not backwards compatible at all. So I have to have a PlayStation 2 for a 1 and 2, and then a 3 for 3, and then my 5 plays 4 and 5. So yeah, they kind of screwed the pooch a little bit when they decided they were gonna yank out some backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 3, which kind of irked me. It was great when my 60 gig was still working great, but it died, and trying to repair it or trying to find another one now, it's next to impossible. It's a shame, because there's some, and I keep my PlayStation 2 in a different room than I do my 3. So, if I want to play those games, I'm in another room as opposed to not my main, entertainment center, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I know third world problems, but still.
Oh, man, I got to stand up and walk?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just that, obviously, me being in the situation that I am, that I've been moving quite a bit in the past few years, it's rather uncomfortable carrying like a bunch of physical copy of games, and A PC is the sort of thing that I'll always carry around because no matter what, I'll do some work or something that it's the PC has become something that is indispensable in every household to a certain extent. Been thinking like if I'm gonna make one investment, I might as well make it in just one system. Make it clear. I have a Switch. I have a PlayStation 4. Obviously, I even have one of those PSPs lying around. I got a 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like my consoles and handhelds and all that. But as time goes by, I've been sort of dissuaded bit by bit to move away from it because I bought the Switch recently, and to be quite honest, I don't know whether to call it that is the worst investment that I've done as far as console goes because not only their games that are obviously exclusive to Nintendo barely come on deals that often. Like you have to wait for the announcement of a title within the same IP, say like Legend of Zelda. They announced that in the recent Nintendo Direct. They announced the Zelda Tears of a Lost Kingdom, I believe is the name. I'm not quite from the top of my head. It's not until that then Breath of the Wild, for example, is on special or any other Zelda games. So, unlike that, you go to Steam and quite later today they release a bunch of deals on games, and most likely tomorrow they'll do so the same, or, you know.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, especially when it comes to Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm talking Nintendo specifically, and being that Game Pass is available on PC, it's like it almost became a moot point to actually buy an Xbox, and it kind of it hurtful to a lot of people. Unless obviously going to your point, obviously if let's not argue about it. It's way cheaper to buy a console right now. Obviously they're selling those consoles at a loss. They say so initially, but after selling I don't know how many million of copies of the PlayStation 5, obviously they kind of swing back within that loss.
Yeah, and their production costs will get lower as time moves on, et cetera, et cetera.
So I don't know what sort of deal they did with the it was AMD that they did for the.
They're both AMD, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 10 teraflops RDNA 2 for the GPU. It's like that's pretty ridiculous. At time of launch, like something of at the time of release, obviously now you got the 3080s, and now recently they announced the 4080, 4090s.
Right.
With GeForce, it's kind of of course, they're always gonna be kind of on top, but whatever deal they did for releasing those GPUs for the consoles, it was fantastic. Longevity-wise, I guess we'll see because most console users have 1 or 2 years, 2 years now on November, right?
Is it? Yeah, I think it is 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
So console owners will start seeing whether the consoles are faulty or whatever within this time free period.
Well, my motherboard died on my launch PS5 already.
So. Right. It was the motherboard?
Yeah, they replaced the whole. Well, the motherboard itself was still good, but whatever died on the motherboard, they swapped out the whole thing. Because it's all built into. It's not like a PC where each part is replaceable. It's all built on board. So it's cheaper for them to just swap out the whole board than it is for them to try to resolder. My guess was the onboard SSD died or had a problem because of the way it was acting. But
I'm not sure the PlayStation 5 Azure specs. Do they not use like a NVMe card or something?
The storage is built on board, but you can add the additional NVMe.
So the board you cannot the storage is not separate. It's like on the board per se.
You got it. You got it. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking happened with mine because the way it was acting, it was just looping. So yeah, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, I already had to have mine sent in for repair. I only knew that the motherboard was replaced because I had the add-on NVMe. They have how the SSDs have the little holder screw because they're different sizes.
Yeah.
Well, when I pulled mine out because they tell you to pull it out because there's no guarantee you're going to get it back. So I pulled mine out, but I left a placeholder screw in the spot where that card would have been, and when I got it was the same serial number, so I got the same console back, but that placeholder screw was now in the default spot, which they would have had zero reason to move that screw. So my guess was, okay, they replaced the whole board.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. So it was probably cheaper for them to. It's cheaper for them to just swap it out than try to troubleshoot and actually repair. Especially if there's they have to resolder something. They're not going to do that. They're just going to swap it. So.
To be quite honest, I was tempted to buy a PS5.
Yes, you should.
Nah, after no, quite literally. While we were doing a bit of research for our kind of arguments and all that, I quite literally saw they announced that after release, PlayStation is gonna start releasing their games for PC 1 year after the game is released.
Well, they need to compete. They need to compete. Well, Microsoft was doing that. Now, when you mention Game Pass, it's not one for one. The library is different. Mm-hmm. But it's still pretty close, and your big games are still going to be on both. But I mean, Sony has to do something to try to keep up with Microsoft as far as if they're because Microsoft doesn't care if they lose an Xbox player to PC because they're still going to be getting money from the software. Whereas if PlayStation loses a PlayStation player to PC, there's no benefit for them for selling software, so they have to.
Yeah. So and kind of to the point that we made earlier, they're selling the consoles as a lot. So it's been that for a while that they releasing a console is a loss for them. So when they get it from the games, and even more so now with the live services like microtransactions or whatever they include now in the games that I really despise. But yeah, the whole gaming experience is been kind of for me at least in the up and down as far as me keep investing on a console versus on a computer. And as far as most of my friends and whatnot obviously are on either on computer, or I can be playing a game, multitasking. I can be listening to the news, been listening to kind of a podcast, or doing something else aside from the gaming experience. And I guess you could say, yeah, you can most likely do the same. You can put Spotify or something on the console and listen to music. But if you want to see another video or whatever, and I do so more so if I'm doing something within the game that either is repetitive or really doesn't need you to be that vested in listening to the music or whatever. Me being the sort of a person that replay games a lot, most likely I'm playing a game that I already know, so I can sort of be doing something for entertainment while I'm listening to news or getting some other information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And the consoles have gotten better with that as time has moved on. Especially with the multitasking and being able to play your own tunes or whatever during the games. I know the Xbox was one of the first consoles to really allow that, and Sony has gotten a little bit better. To me, when I'm gaming, I don't usually have anything else going on, so to me that doesn't sound appealing, but I can understand how it would sound appealing to somebody else. And it's funny because we went through our debate, and I was I'm on the console side or whatever, but in all reality, I don't care. And I know some of the points that we were making really are like you said, they're moot at this point because you can really do whatever you want with either one. It's pretty crazy. I know you can set up a computer in your living room if you really wanted to,
Yeah.
So, but
you can play on your bed if you wanted to.
You could do whatever you want wherever you want. Yeah, the way these systems are, the way they are today. Now, the thing though that with your point when it came to like you mentioned Steam, as far as like you can always go back onto Steam and download that game that you purchased years ago. The thing I'll say to that though is you can do the same on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. And you might say, well, what happens if PlayStation decides that they're not going to run their network anymore?
If you can play Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
No, because that wasn't available on
That that
PlayStation Network.
that's like on PlayStation 3 era, so that's the sort of a thing, or the one that you keep saying, for example, the Capcom versus SNK, right?
Yeah, Capcom vs SNK 2 is my favorite, but yeah, there are certain ones that they did re-release on a network. But wouldn't that be the same as Steam decided they were gonna shut down?
Not really, because it's been going for a while now. Well, we're going through, I guess, 2 or 3 generations of networks as far as PlayStation and Xbox.
Yep.
So there's not any signs, particularly with just the very same games that are being released on, like God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man being released on Steam. It's like, yeah, I don't see it going away. And even if you, for example, something was in the Epic Store or any other, there's even the GOG Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken, that you can put all these services in just one place. And if it's really such a hassle to double click on an icon and getting access to your games from a different service or another that are in the same computer, you could quite literally see all your games in one place if you wanted to. So
Sure.
how I see it, there are ways about it, and they're really not. It's the thing that you get a precedent of something happening, and there's a chance of it happening again versus one not happening at all. I feel more reliant on the Steam not going away anytime soon, especially with all the people that are doing streaming nowadays, or casting on YouTube or Twitch or you name it. And most of the games, they most likely get it from Steam, because not only they are very reliant on, like I said, releasing specials every so often. It's been a very reliable service as to date.
And yeah, you're not wrong, but I think you can make the same exact argument for both the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, especially Xbox Live with Microsoft being so, with it doubling for both computer and console. But look at, I mean, can you walk into a store right now and buy a PlayStation 5? I'm not sure if you can.
Nope.
So that kind of shows you still that the things are still going to be, they're not going away anytime soon. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's there's really no right or wrong, answer. From my standpoint, as far as PC gaming, I never really, well, I got into it when I first started getting into computers, but I just really like the whole not having to worry about crap when it comes to, I know it's different now than it used to be, but I mean, my PC gaming was back in 3.1, DOS 6.0, 6.22, Windows 3.1. So we're talking about like elevated.
Okay, you definitely haven't experienced computer gaming in a while, so definitely your experience is very skewed in that sense, because
Exactly. I'm not worried about all that bullshit just to try to get a goddamn game running. But
yeah, but
yeah.
Definitely that's not the case, man.
I know. But I do know that you can still run into issues. And hey, don't get me wrong, you can still run into issues with console games too. Yeah, they crash every once in a while, but there's still, you might need to get the latest driver, or a driver might come out and might screw up this game, and things of that nature. For me, it more comes down to the fact that I deal with this crap at work all day. I don't want to deal with it at home.
Yeah, it's funny because obviously we both work in the same field and kind of have the same experience, and it's one of those things that you've been working with computers all day. You don't want to get home and be dealing with computers. But to be honest, for me, it's not the same. I bet for a lot of people, it's not the same either. There are people that are able to make that distinction to not cross the line, unless where you're playing is also your workstation sort of a deal. But there are ways about it as well, because you can have your people. We don't recommend that you do this at home, but say that you have your chat for your company in one window, and in another window you're playing Minecraft. I mean, and you're still clogging in at work. But again, we don't say that you do that.
We don't condone this behavior. I don't think anybody would ever do anything.
And it's funny because for that very same reason is that a lot of companies nowadays want people getting back to the office, because they don't want it to having that leisure of being able to do the other stuff while they're clocking it for work. And to be perfectly honest, I understand, but it's just that fanatism with people having you at their beck and command that I'm paying you for these 8 hours. I'm gonna get your life out of these 8 hours, where you do the work in 4 hours. But we're kind of getting off topic. We're talking about gaming, not about work.
That's true. That's true.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
we can go on and on about work.
I would say it's one of those things that definitely is what you're looking for as far as
Yeah.
console and PC gaming goes. Like, I definitely see the advantages of console gaming, because if you're gifting that for a child, just like you beautifully mentioned when you're making your arguments, you can gift it to a child, a brother, even a parent that is into gaming, and
Yeah.
they only need to turn it on, and if they even not playing any games, they can stream Disney or Disney Plus, Hulu,
Yeah.
see a sport, put Netflix on. So there's other things, but it's just that, like, the back and forth that you gotta pay. Not only for the console, you gotta pay additionally month by month, or a subscription to be able to use the online services. So it's like they're gonna get you somewhere.
Yeah, they always do.
So when
And
you
it's
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of funny when you meant when I was mentioning how I didn't want to deal with the computers at home, and you equated it to, like, especially if you were going to be sitting at your same spot that you were working, if you were work from home. I was more leaning towards, and then you said, like, you don't equate it that way, and you pop in your game and you're good to go. And I was gonna say, yeah, until you have a problem. Now when you have a problem, now all of a sudden now it's like work. You know what I mean? Now I got to troubleshoot this problem. I got to figure out what's going on with this game. Whereas consoles, I don't have to do that. Although I've done my fair share of troubleshooting.
Yeah, I gotta
consoles.
say, you gotta do your troubleshooting when your database goes corrupt, or you're having you gotta rebuild it. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, if
Yeah,
you're someone that deals with computers, obviously that's kind of a small fraction, I guess, to the majority of people that have consoles or PCs or whatever. Most likely you have a troubleshooting mind to go about it, unlike someone that might need to go into YouTube or go into a forum and ask what they're gonna do when that happens. So at the end of the day, you still gotta do some troubleshooting or something when
Yeah,
something
yeah.
goes out, whether it's PC or console.
True. That's usually a failure on a hardware standpoint on a console, whereas, you could have gotten the latest Windows update and there could have been a driver or an update in there that for some odd reason doesn't jive well. They updated a DLL that this game also uses, and for some reason it's not jiving well, and now your game looks like crap or whatever. That typically you don't have to deal with any of that stuff on console. Well, I mean, they can send out a patch that does screw up stuff. So, but you're not. Yeah,
It go both ways. There have been games on release that have been buggy on console, but
That's
not on
true. That's true.
not on PC. And
Yeah.
not to hammer on CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, that definitely was a very out there example. But
Yeah.
something that you can do on PC, and I know I didn't bring it up as part of the debate, because I know for a matter of fact that you really don't care about it, especially if you don't replay games that often. But you got modding on PC,
Right.
and especially those games that to this day people still go about their way to add mods, like Skyrim, Doom, you name it, like Fallout. There's a game that you either need to be kind of a revivify as graphic wise, or add new mechanics or whatever. People do it for entertainment, and if you have the skill or if you're partake on that. I personally don't do a whole lot of modding myself, though there's the option to do so for people that really like it, because obviously I cannot think of myself only as far as the experience goes. So because it was something rather specific, I don't know that many people that go about their gaming and add a bunch of mods. Like, obviously close friends, I know one or two, but as general as it goes, I don't know about a lot of people like modding, so I didn't bring it up for that very same reason.
Yeah, no doubt, and I mean that could be attractive to a lot of people, though. But it's also could, depending on how people want to consume their gaming, might not be attractive.
Or
And
might,
I don't know.
or might be what led them to actually trying the game, because
It could very well.
it fixes
Yeah.
something that it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because there have been people fixing games on PC that the developer hasn't been
Yeah,
through
I know,
modding.
it's sad. Yeah, it's sad. Obviously, I say sad in the fact that yeah, obviously these developers are doing this for a living, and that might not be the only game or whatever they're working on. So you have to give them a little bit of slack, but it is kind of, I would think it would be a little bit embarrassing if the community was able to fix a problem that they have not fixed yet. But yeah, I also can understand you know the modding people, the people doing the modding might have they're dedicated just trying to do this one thing, and they don't have a boss or a manager breathing down their neck about a timeline or things of that nature that they're working on for other projects. So I can understand it.
Usually, like you just mentioned, it's something that comes from the top. I don't know how familiar are you with your tech channels on YouTube or whatever, like Linux or Gamer Nexus and all that. Gamer Nexus was reviewing one of those Alienwares, I believe, what the R13
Hmm.
model, and basically, but people that don't know, Alienware basically something kind of derived out of Dell. There's a lot of beautiful people working in the engineering and development department, so it's not necessarily their fault when a computer comes with a lot of crap or things that doesn't make sense
No.
when it's something that is being asked of them to be actually being done. And I would say the same could be said as far as console goes as well, because I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't like how either the the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox look.
Oh, dude, no, I can't argue with you there.
It's something that definitely is an acquired taste, because I'm sorry, the PlayStation 4 was very slick as far as the model goes, even the Pro version. The PlayStation 5 is quite literally just like a router that you got
It,
on the corner of your
it's
room.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. I had to swap out those plates because I couldn't stand that white.
Yeah, there you go, talking about customizing the box to how you
I
like it.
hated it. I hated it. Hated it.
So, man, yeah, what can I say? But yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's one of those things, man. Will I give up gaming eventually or something like that? I don't see myself. Like, obviously, that's something that I do really to kind of distress and kind of as a shared experience with other people, because it's a way that I can play fighting games with Kevin, for example, or any other sort of game, or some of my other posts when I'm on computer. So I don't see going away anytime soon, especially being so lucrative market as it is,
Yeah.
both for content creators and the business themselves. Like, I don't know how many billions have been reported of companies making as far as game development and production goes.
Yeah, no doubt. It's extremely lucrative. And you know what? I mean, your attitude might change depending on availability, price, and stuff of that nature. As far as when next set of consoles or whatever comes out, you can make the same argument versus, like, I'm a owner of both PlayStation and Xbox, and you can make the argument of only having one or the other, not both. But I don't want to miss out on stuff. So
The
I mean, there's
fear of missing out.
yeah, yeah, for the most part. I mean, I don't necessarily say it's the fear of missing out, but I don't want to not be able to play, the awesome game that just came out on Xbox because I don't have one. I only have a PlayStation. If it was something that I couldn't afford, that's different. But so, and like you said, I enjoy I enjoy it. It's a hobby. It's fun. It's de-stressful, or can be stressful depending on what I'm doing. But for the most part, it's something that I enjoy doing. So I don't see it going away anytime soon for me either. Now, if there was, and my attitude might change for PCs if all of a sudden there was some really awesome PC gaming experiences that are coming out that I can only get on PC. Right now that's more along the lines of just of the console games for the type of games that I like to play. I know there are certain games available only on PC, but typically they're not in my wheelhouse as far as the genres that I enjoy.
As story goes, it's funny because as far as my console gaming goes, I would say either half or more of the consoles that I've gotten is not me buying them. And like my first console technically was Game Boy. like the old Game Boy, the first one released. That was my first console.
Yep.
Like playing Tetris and Kirby's and all the other games that were available at that time. Close after, that was a Super Nintendo, and one was gifted to me by my godfather and my godmother. The Super Nintendo was bought to me by my parents, and I had those for a while, while everyone was already on PS1 and whatever. I was still playing Super Nintendo.
Sure.
And then when it came to PlayStation 2 and the Xbox era and all that, a friend of mine sold me their PlayStation 1 for $50. Nice. Like, obviously, was not the price when the console was released with a bunch of games. So, yeah, that was rather cheap. Obviously, a used console, but it was still serviceable.
Yeah, sure.
And I had that for a while, and it was a friend of mine that gifted to me the PlayStation 2, like the teen one, the version that was the top loader kind of a deal.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So that was my experience with PlayStation 2, and I had that for a while. Like, my consoles last for a while because obviously at that point I was not buying them.
Yeah.
Like, the only one that I bought, I remember, was the PlayStation 1, and then a friend sold me their Xbox 360 for, I think it was the same friend that sold me the PS1, sold me the Xbox 360, because obviously they were on the next generation kind of a deal.
Sure.
That, or they needed to get the money for whatever reason. I don't remember the details right now. But yeah, I bought the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3 was also gifted to me by quite literally a group of friends. Like, I was behind on gaming all this time because obviously I didn't had the console, and they all came together and made like a pot, and they bought the PlayStation 3 for me, and I was like,
nice.
Wait, what? And they were all like in the living room, and they put the PlayStation 3 in front of me. I'm like, because they were saying, now we can play online and whatever. Dude, I have a PlayStation 2. I don't have a PlayStation 3. We can solve that, and put the console there. I'm like, oh, man. Nice. Those are some friends.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So, yeah, and now, obviously, the PS4, the Switch, the PSP, and the 3DS, obviously, I bought those myself.
Yep.
But yeah, as you can see, most of my consoles have been gifted to me to a certain extent.
Most of mine my early ones were as well.
Like, what was your first one?
Well, same Game Boy. I had the Game Boy, was my first one. But then I went through the Nintendo cycle, so I did. I had the NES and a Super Nintendo. I traded my this is one of the worst decisions I ever made. I traded my Super Nintendo and all my games for the Nintendo 64. Don't regret getting the Nintendo 64, but I regret trading in my Super Nintendo and all my games.
I bet.
I got the GameCube as a gift, and then I think I got PlayStation 1 and 2. Both of those I think I got as gifts as well. It wasn't until PlayStation 3 that I just started. That's when I was growing up now, so I can buy my own stuff, right? So, that's when I was really getting into purchasing the consoles myself. And I did not have an original Xbox, and I didn't get the Xbox 360 until much later into its life cycle. I kind of hemmed and hawed on that one for a long time, whether I wanted to do both consoles at that time. So I shifted, obviously, Nintendo. Now I shifted into PlayStation. So, I was in the PlayStation world. And then once I got the Xbox 360 and I had both, from then on, it's always been both. Xbox One came out, I got that one. PlayStation 4 came out, I got that one. PlayStation PS4 Pro came out, I got that. Xbox One X came out, I got that. Xbox Series X came out, I got that. PS5 came out, I got that. So, Switch, I got that too.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Now I gotta catch them all. Yeah.
Yeah, but see that's the thing. For me at least, it's become cumbersome, especially with me moving around. Like, man, I gotta be moving all this crap around when I'm moving around. So yeah, unless I finally say that this is the place that I'm gonna stay, I'm not gonna keep moving. Yeah, I might consider staying up to date with the console and all that, especially with availability. And like you said, like a price drop, yeah, I might consider it. But at the time that I might consider a price drop, they're gonna release the PlayStation 6 or the Xbox 9000 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, when there's still, I haven't really kept up on how available they are now, but I don't think they're super available even almost 2 years in.
That or you gotta pay more for it. Like,
yeah, and I'm not paying more.
I think you just said when you sent on to repair your PlayStation 5, you were thinking about buying another one, but you had to pay like $1,000 or something for that.
Yeah, because I was in the middle of playing Horizon Forbidden West, and I was enjoying the hell out of it. Great game. And then my PS5 dies. I'm like, damn it, man. And then I had to send it in to get repaired. I had to pay to have it repaired because it was already out of warranty. So I had no idea if they were going to turn around the repair in 2 weeks or 6 months. I had no idea how long it was going to take because they're not readily available. I don't know how much the parts are readily available on Sony's end, and the shipping and all that other good stuff. So I'm like, man, maybe I'll buy another PS5 so I can continue to play, and then when my repaired one comes back, I can sell it or something.
Yeah, but
I couldn't find one. I couldn't find one. The only ones I could find were the third-party sellers on, Amazon or eBay or whatever. They wanted $700 to $1,000 for it. I'm like, I'm not paying that.
No, it's not. It's not the word.
So I just waited. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I gotta give Sony props though. They turned it around pretty quick. So I think I was out maybe 3-4 weeks most. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I bet there are people that cannot wait that long.
Well, I wouldn't have waited.
Yeah, you were on the verge. You were on the verge.
Yeah, no. If I could have walked into Best Buy and picked one up, I would have done that the day that it died, or at least the next day. I would have just got a new one. And then if they were that readily available, knowing that it wasn't even that I would have had to pay to get it repaired, I probably wouldn't even bother getting it repaired. I would just got a new one and be done with it.
Yeah, see that's the thing that I don't want to go with. Like, obviously, you could say the same. Your motherboard goes bad. Well, man, I can order one and I can change it myself because obviously I know how to do it. But that's me. That's me because obviously I know about computers and
exactly. Yeah, not everybody has that same skill set. Although it's not that difficult now.
I was gonna say there's a lot of services now that help you not only build your computer, like you got Skytech or NXCXT as well, like a few others that don't come to mind right now, but you can not only build the computer how you want it, but also most of them have a pretty worthy warranty service or part replacement, and I would say that they're making it more accessible as far as the service, obviously price-wise. Yeah, again, that's something that you cannot argue. The computer is always going to be more expensive, especially when the GPU is either 3 times the price of a console. There's no arguing that. And quite clearly, I was seeing a video on the recent, like the GeForce, the 4090. Dude, those things are huge. Like I think they're heavier than a laptop, like a standard laptop. Yeah, they have like their own cooling system, like their own fan and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, they're coming around with things like I don't know if there's any way to improve like ray tracing and all the capability like the GDDR and everything that they use for the graphic performance to do it smaller. Like, I don't know if technology can get to the point of getting like smaller and smaller, or the capacitors being able to do the same on a smaller scale, because those GPU have gotten bigger and bigger as time goes.
Yeah, I mean everything gets smaller, but yeah, I mean they're just trying to cram as much power into these things as possible. It's crazy. So I mean it's yeah, it, it'll never end. I don't think it'll ever end.
Talking about things that never end, let us know what you guys think as far as PC versus computer. What do you enjoy the most? Uh, we, we,
Yes,
we made an attempt at a debate.
that was tough, man. That was you know, in all honesty, that was different than what I think we're used to. So that was a trial run from our standpoint, folks, because we kind of just threw it together real quick. So I think we could have improved a little bit on the whole timing issue as far as obviously having a moderator would fix it, but
Oh yeah, that obviously not having the moderator is hard because obviously
yeah,
there's the point of you having to keep up your time and the other persons or each one having their time cut off in the year. But I guess we'll work around it, and for future occasions, if we do something similar, obviously we'll try to maybe convince one of our friends or something to jump in and kind of serve as
yeah.
that moderator, maybe.
Or maybe we'll keep our own time next time because I had no idea how much time I had
Yeah, I think
left.
that
You know what I mean?
that's a lesson learned. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're hey we're learning and hopefully regardless everybody enjoyed our talking points and can give their input as well like you said.
I guess you were not ready for this.
No, I definitely was not ready for this.
Any anything else, man?
No, man, that was a good time. So appreciate the good old fashioned debate there. We didn't get too angry at each other, so that's a plus.
Oh well, we're not in front of each other, so we cannot punch each other in the face. So
No throwing down. We saved that to video games.
that, well, we'll definitely wait for that.
All right, my friend, and everybody else listening, please leave your comments, suggestions, your thoughts, and on either our Facebook page, our Reddit page, YouTube, whatever your flavor that you like to leave your comments on. Let us know what you like, didn't like, what you agreed and disagreed on.
Certainly do, man. Appreciate you all. We'll see you in the next one.
Enjoy, people.